Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into a company that's been catching serious attention again, Bigbear.ai. The stock has made a solid move today, climbing roughly 7% after bouncing back from a short-lived dip last week. That kind of rebound always gets investors talking, and honestly, it's a perfect time to step back and analyze what's really going on behind this momentum. Now, Bigbear.ai isn't a new name for most of you who've been following the AI and defense sectors closely. This company has had its share of volatility and even some manipulation concerns in the past, especially back in 2024. But what we're witnessing lately feels different. This time, the excitement seems to be coming from real-world deployment and expanding usage of their technology, rather than just speculation. In fact, one of our community members recently shared something pretty interesting. He mentioned that while traveling through LAX, he noticed Bigbear.ai's facial recognition scanners actively working at the airport. That's not a small thing. It's a real indicator that the company's AI and biometric solutions are being integrated into high-traffic, high-security environments. We're no longer talking about potential use cases or theoretical applications. Bigbear systems are out there right now, analyzing data and verifying identities in one of the busiest airports in the world. If we look at how the stock has behaved over the past year, we've seen quite a roller coaster. It shot up to around $10 per share back in February when optimism was high, before correcting all the way down to about $2.36. For reference, our average coverage began back when it was hovering near $2.80 in October of last year. Since then, it's been climbing steadily, reclaiming previous highs and forming new levels of support, almost step by step. By July, it had managed to reach the $8 mark before pulling back again. But what's really caught traders' eyes is the steady stair-step pattern it's been forming since September, each prior resistance turning into the next level of support. That's the kind of structure that signals a healthy uptrend, even if it experiences small corrections along the way. Currently, we've seen the stock test resistance around the $8.50 range, followed by some consistent downtrending movement, and now, another breakout. Many in the trading community caught that move, and the price action since then has suggested a potential shift into a new bullish trend. When we strip away all the noise and technical drawings, what we're left with is a stock that's starting to find stability around the $7 support level, with resistance forming around $8 to $8.50. So, what does that mean for short-term traders? Essentially, there's a window here where Bigbear.ai could test that upper resistance again. We might see a minor pullback towards $7.30 or $7.50, levels that could act as fresh support, before potentially pushing back up toward that $8.25 to $8.50 range. That's roughly a 10% margin of potential profit for short-term movers, but of course, it comes with the usual volatility risk that Bigbear.ai is known for. Now, let's zoom out a bit and talk about the macro backdrop, because it plays a surprisingly large role in all this. One of the major topics that's been circulating lately is the ongoing U.S. government shutdown. Most people don't immediately think about how these shutdowns affect the stock market, but historically, markets have actually posted more positive returns during government shutdown periods than during normal trading environments. It sounds counterintuitive, but the data supports it. Our team ran the historical performance data from multiple previous shutdowns, and the trend is clear. Despite short-term uncertainty, equities often move higher afterward. So, how does that tie into Bigbear.ai? Well, companies like Bigbear thrive on government and defense contracts. When the government temporarily halts operations, the flow of new contracts slows down, but the need for critical technology like AI-driven threat detection, biometric verification, and automated security solutions doesn't disappear. In fact, it often grows. Agencies like the TSA are actively seeking to minimize manual processes, strengthen threat detection, and improve passenger verification systems. And that's exactly where Bigbear.ai's expertise lies. If you've traveled through major U.S. airports like LAX, JFK, or Denver International, chances are you've already encountered some of Bigbear's technology without even realizing it. Their biometric scanners are being deployed more widely across airports, integrating with TSA infrastructure and even individual airlines such as Delta. This strategy is actually quite smart because it doesn't rely entirely on federal contracts. By partnering directly with airlines and private organizations, Bigbear.ai can diversify its revenue sources while continuing to build its data ecosystem. And that data is incredibly valuable. Every scan, every interaction, and every verification adds to a massive dataset that can be leveraged for both security improvements and predictive modeling. These commercial partnerships also give Big Bear access to non-government clients, creating an entirely new business channel outside of its traditional defense sector work. Financially, this could make a big difference. Despite the company posting negative net income recently, it's worth noting that their balance sheet has improved. We've seen new deployments and a handful of contract announcements over the past few months, which could translate into stronger revenue numbers in upcoming quarters. Yes, that's still speculative, but it's backed by observable growth in real-world adoption, and investors seem to be noticing. Institutional holdings in Bigbear.ai have quietly increased, which tells us that bigger players are building positions. The correction following the last earnings report created an attractive entry point for funds looking to accumulate shares. After that dip, the stock rebounded strongly, rising towards $7.50, and much of that move appears to have been driven by institutional buying pressure rather than retail speculation. Of course, we should stay grounded. Technical indicators like the MACD and RSI are showing some overbought conditions at the moment. That means we could easily see a short-term correction or consolidation phase before another push upward. The $7.50 zone remains a critical support level. If the price dips back there and holds, it could serve as a healthy reset before resuming its climb. The exponential moving average, or EMA, also plays a key role here. In bullish phases, the EMA tends to act as a safety net, a line of defense where the stock finds buyers and reverses upward. In bearish trends, it flips into resistance. Over the past few months, we've seen Bigbear.ai shift from being below that EMA line, where sellers dominated, to trading above it, indicating renewed strength and investor confidence. As long as it can stay above that line, the bullish case remains valid. But let's not just focus on the charts. The broader context for Bigbear.ai is fascinating. Looking ahead, the next few years could present enormous opportunities tied to global events. The 2026 FIFA World Cup and the 2028 Olympic Games are both expected to bring millions of travelers through U.S. borders. Each of those entries represents a security challenge and a data collection opportunity. Companies like Bigbear.ai, which specialize in AI-driven identity verification and predictive analytics, are in a prime position to benefit from those influxes. Think about it. Both the Pentagon and the Department of Defense have shown growing interest in AI solutions that enhance national security, streamline data analysis, and reduce human error. Bigbear.ai already has partnerships that align with those goals. And as these massive international events approach, the demand for scalable, secure, and automated systems is only going to increase. Now, it's important to stay realistic too. Because of the government shutdown, we're unlikely to see any major new contract announcements or public catalysts in the immediate term. Things might stay quiet for a bit, and we could see some sideways movement or mild pullbacks as traders take profits. But the long-term story remains compelling. Bigbear.ai is quietly building the infrastructure and relationships that could make it a central player in the coming wave of government and defense-related AI contracts. For our part, we continue to hold our Big Bear position long-term. We don't treat this as just another quick trade. It's a position that fits into a broader AI and defense strategy. And for those wondering how we manage shorter-term trades, the rule is simple. We only trade stocks short-term if we already believe in them long-term. That's why when we catch a breakout like this one, it's often from a company we're already holding. It helps keep emotions out of the equation and aligns trading decisions with long-term conviction. Right now, things are looking positive. Our other positions, like Rigetti, have also seen massive short-term gains, over 300% recently, which reinforces how fast the market can move when AI narratives start catching fire again. But even with these quick wins, discipline matters. Bigbear.ai's story is still being written, and patience could pay off handsomely if the momentum continues into the next earnings cycle. So, to sum it all up, Bigbear.ai's recent 7% jump is more than just a bounce. It's part of a bigger pattern, one that reflects institutional confidence, real-world deployment of AI technology, and a strengthening balance sheet. With major global events on the horizon and increasing demand for automated security systems, Bigbear.ai is positioning itself at the intersection of government, defense, and commercial innovation. There may be volatility ahead, but if history is any guide, this could just be the early stages of something much larger. And as always, none of this is financial advice, just analysis and perspective based on what we're seeing. Whether you're trading short-term or investing long-term, Always do your own research and make informed decisions. That's it for today's deep dive, folks. I hope this breakdown helps you understand not just where Bigbear.ai stands today, but also the bigger picture of where it could be headed next. Stay focused, stay patient, and I'll catch you in the next one. This is not financial advice.